Still no bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on his ass real quick one time. 144, bitch.
They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole thought. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaselina like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a Zoc, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shane Sharp. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Hawkins. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Told them boys we taking notes. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole part. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. He ain't locked in with the count and when you speaking to me for. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. You can't do with them steps. Them niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole part. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. And I just made it call. We gon' start another war. Yeah. All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, I'm this and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga, this a blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a crippling. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. Hey, they said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like bad pill. But ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. Or you take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times. It is death do us part. Look. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the like you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck a raise it. I pity those watching life as it goes by. Be giving mercy in his life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never tried to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's sold out on. Either fold or salute my nigga. Salute my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, say she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth out of show? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people gon' disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah, yeah.
Got another. The ISUPK. It looked like it's 2 windows. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no, this is.
Okay, most of that. All right, Shalom, Israel. We Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. It's the Monday night scripture breakdown class. You know what I mean? What we do with your Christian pastors cannot do, which is, you know what I mean? We break down this Bible. You know what I mean? We've been teaching the truth according to the Bible since 1969. You know what I mean? So if you are not in the ISUPK, you are absolutely learning a lie. You know what I mean? The same lie that your Christian pastor been teaching, the same lie that they're teaching in these fake Israelite groups, the same lie that you get taught, you know what I mean, in school about who you are as a people, the same lie that everywhere you go, you get taught. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go outside of the ISUPK, you get taught the same lie that's been destroying blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I mean, since the inception of our nation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible so that we can get our black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters out of this hell. You know what I mean? So that we can understand the condition that we're in. Because, you know what I mean? Because for so long, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have had is soothsayers. You know what I mean? We try to get answers. We try to get an avenue out of hell. You know what I mean? But all we have had was, you know what I mean, these Christian pastors who just tell us what we want to hear. You know what I mean? And a lot of money out of our pockets. You know what I mean? All we have are these you know what I mean, what they got these what they call them? These so-called, you know what I mean, the psychics, Salakia. You know what I mean? Give you fake palm readings and tarot card readings, and you know what I mean? We had to rely on astrology and, you know what I mean, horoscopes and zodiac signs, trying to get some sort of answers, when our answers is right here in this Bible. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have always had this Bible, you know what I mean, in our houses. You know what I mean? We've always been attached to the Christian church, where they claim to teach for the Bible, but they don't teach us this truth. You know what I mean? They don't teach us the truth, who we are according to the Bible, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of antiquity. We are the true chosen people of the Most High God, the only nation of people that the Most High loves, man. If you got any questions, Salakia, you know what I mean, you got any questions, you got any topics that you want broken down or anything like that, you can go ahead and put them in the chat.
One question.
A question. All right, let's go ahead and get it.
All right, the young man asks, Salakia Baba Kashah, if I could, can I get a breakdown of numbers 6 and 24, 24 through 27?
Let's see what we got. Numbers chapter 6, verse 24. Yeah, go ahead, read, or you want me to read?
Yeah.
All right.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 6 and verse 24. I started 23. Speaking to Aaron and his son, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
This sounds like one of the prayers that we, and yeah, the anointing prayer. You know what I mean? This is, you know what I mean, that's the simple answer. That's the short answer.
Right.
Let me know if you need something further, but that's just, is this exactly what it's saying? It's just a prayer to bless Israel. You know what I mean? Bless the nation that Moses and Aaron guided out of the captivity of the Egyptians.
Right.
You know what I mean? But let me know if that answers your question, if you need a little bit more, or if you had anything like specific or anything like that pertaining to that question. All right. If any other brother or sister has any questions throughout, you know what I mean, go ahead and put them in the chat. If I can answer them, I'll go ahead and answer them. If not, you know what I mean, I'll just let you know. You know what I mean? This ain't like your Christian church where they'll make up lies and make up, you know what I mean? They'll just make up things as they go. You know what I mean? Other than that, you know what I mean? If we see any questions throughout, we'll pause. We'll pause throughout the lesson and address them, or address them at the end, or however we got to do it, depending on the nature of the question. But like you. Just 1 second. Hey, young style, what's going down? But I mean, until questions, you know what I mean, until questions start coming through, you know what I mean. Tonight we're gonna kind of pick up where we left off last scripture breakdown class. We was talking about, you know what I mean, how the Most High looks at, you know what I mean, how the Most High looks at us when we join ourselves to these other nations, and what we don't realize, because your Christian pastor, like we said last week, or can't remember when it was, the last class, you know what I mean, we talked about how your Christian pastor has gaslighted you out of your culture. You know what I mean? These other nations have gaslighted you out of your culture. Where we walk around, you ask any Black, Hispanic, and Native American what their culture is, and they're going to either tell you some religion, a color in a crayon box, and they're going to tell you some culture that belongs to another nation. And what we don't realize is that's such a dangerous and evil thing. I mean, that's such a danger. As a matter of fact, let me get Psalms. Let me get Proverbs. I can't remember. Proverbs. Let me find it real quick. These simple ones, less simple. Is that Proverbs or Psalms? The first chapter. The Proverbs, the first chapter. You know what I mean? But these other nations have gamed us up, just like, you know what I mean, just like a pimp, or, you know what I mean, some silver tongue, you know what I mean, some silver tongue, you know what I mean, deceptive person would game up a woman out her clothes, you know what I mean, or how a pimp would game up a woman to have her sell her body on the streets. You know what I mean? That's what we've become. You know what I mean? We become merchandise to these other nations, man. It's like, go ahead. You got that Psalms, or it's like Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 22. You got a mic with you. Where's my son first? Read that when you got it.
Come. Book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
How long will we love simplicity? How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? This is talking about us, the nation of Israel. I mean, we are the nation that the Most High chose to, you know what I mean, call his own. I mean, to give the law, statutes, and commandments, to give his covenant to. I mean, he chose Abraham. I mean, then after Abraham, he chose Isaac, and Isaac, after Isaac, he chose Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, and was the progenitor, the forefather of the 12 tribes. You know what I mean, which are the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. You know what I mean, but in these laws, like it says in Deuteronomy chapter 4, I mean, it says that these laws, statutes, and commandments are our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the other nations.
Right.
But because we have been gamed out of our culture, out of our nation, you know what I mean? We have become meat. We have become prey to all these other nations, man. Slacker, read that again from the top.
Verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in the scorning?
How long are we going to love simplicity, man? How long are we going to continue to, the Shalom of Christ is? How long are we going to continue to let these other nations game us up with the same trick bag? Like, it's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? You take it back to, you know what I mean? You take it back to start with Obama. You know what I mean? We looked at Obama back in, I believe, what was 2008? We looked at Obama like, you know what I mean? He was the great, you know what I mean? We was finally going to have some black president. Come to find out, you know what I mean? After 2 terms, we find out that this is a whole African. He's a whole nother nation of people.
Right.
And in his entire, you know what I mean, 8 years of his presidency, he did nothing for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But he did put a lot of policies in place for the LGBTQ community. You know what I mean? He did. And how did he game us up? By acting black. You know what I mean? By using our simplicity to, you know what I mean, to capitalize on, you know what I mean, us being docile, us just looking at his complexion, you know what I mean, us just looking at, okay, we looking at his complexion and we see that he from Chicago, you know what I mean, and we just like, that's enough, you know what I mean, that's all. We got a black man from Chicago in the White House to represent us. Whole time he has done nothing for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We still, to this day, like, we still reverence Obama as if he did anything just because he's black, or just because we thought he was black, just because we think he's black. You know what I mean? And now you got you know what I mean, you got Biden in the office. I mean, during his campaign, he talking about, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. You know what I mean? He uses anybody who we set over us. And we're gonna get that in a second in the Bible. Anybody who we've chosen to set over us in this kingdom, they've used our simplicity of thinking that, you know what I mean, they've used our simplicity to thinking that all you gotta do is, you know what I mean, be adjacent to black or portray something that we regard as black, and you know what I mean, boom, they got our vote. I mean, you fast forward, you look at Kamala Harris now, who is, again, not a black woman, but she is she's a white woman. As a matter of fact, let's get hold that. We're gonna come back to that. Let's get Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. This is important for us to understand. And this is how they're able to game us up. Because we think that you know what I mean, because of colorism, because of our captivity, you know what I mean, because of how our oppressor has gamed us up and pitted us against one another based on, you know what I mean, skin color, based on tribe, based on, you know what I mean, frivolous things like that. Now we just look at if we just look at anybody with any sort of melanin as a black person,
right,
as our people. When they don't share in our suffering, they don't share in our culture, they don't share in our you know what I mean, captivity, they don't, you know what I mean? And when these other nations who we call, you know what I mean, black people, you know what I mean, these Africans, these so-called these Arabs, these any race of people or nation of people that has a little bit of melanin, when they come over here and you know what I mean, they come up, they start establishing themselves in this country, they exclude us. You know what I mean? While we trying to include them in everything. Slacky, go ahead and read what you got real quick.
In Numbers 1 to 17?
And 18.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declare their pedigree.
They declare what?
And pedigree.
You know what a pedigree is, right? Let's see if we get that definition real quick. And this is very important for us to understand. And you know what I mean? This is going to free you. You know what I mean? This scripture right here, this is going to free you from colorism. Because if you pay attention, every other nation of people, you know what I mean, they don't suffer from colorism. They know exactly who they are. And even if you like you take Africa, for example, since we you know what I mean, that's one of the ones that we've been under that, you know what I mean, we've been under that belief of us being African for, you know what I mean, a very long time. But you look at them over in that country, and even though they come from all different ranges of colors, you know what I mean, different shades of dark skin and light skin, you know what I mean, but they still know who their family are, and they know who their family is not. You know what I mean? And they take that very seriously. But you know what I mean, all we gotta do is just see somebody with a drop of melanin, and we gonna accept them into our we gonna accept them as our own, not even realizing that looking at or being under colorism, we are accepting our enemies into our households, into our nation, into our you know what I mean, into our cultures, and they are using it to destroy us. You mind reading that definition, Professor?
Khan, this is the definition of pedigree: a registered recording a line of ancestors.
You mind reading that Numbers real quick?
Book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day.
So
we were
all organized.
And they declared their pedigree after their families.
So a pedigree is read that again, Bob.
A registry recording a line of ancestors.
So a pedigree is a registry recording a line of ancestors. A line of ancestors. This is how your family is determined, according to the Bible. This is how you determine who is your family, who is your brother, who is a part of your nation, and who is not. You know what I mean? This is very important. How did they determine who your family is? Go ahead, read that.
By Slakia, declared their pedigree after their families. By the house of their fathers.
Not by the house of by the house of their melanin.
By their fathers.
All you gotta do, if you got just a drop of black and you black.
The house of their fathers.
So it has nothing to do with color. You know, I mean, the scriptures say that Israel is as a speckled bird. Right. Meaning we come in all different shades. You know, I mean, we come in all different skin colors and hair textures and you know, I mean, things like that. But what makes you a part of a nation is read that again. By the house of what?
By the house of your father.
Your nationality is determined by your father. That's why when you come into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we ask you who your father is, right? So that we can determine who your tribe is. You know what I mean, that's very important, and that's how we keep our family safe. Like, we want to be all inclusive. We want to love everybody because of fools like Martin Luther King, like you know what I mean, because of your Christian pastors, because of, you know what I mean, all of these leaders that your oppressor has put in place to, you know what I mean, to fool and take advantage of black people. You know what I mean? We think that the way for us to become strong is for us to include everybody. But that's what's making us weak. That's what's having us destroyed. That's what's having us, you know what I mean, be so simple. Like we just read in Proverbs chapter 2. Or it's like in chapter 1 and verse 22. That's what's got us so simple, us trying to include everybody. But we need to be Salaki. Amen. But Salaki. But what's got us, you know what I mean, what's going to keep us from being simple and docile and being able to be gamed up by just anybody with some dark skin is us knowing that, you know what I mean, your nation is determined by your father and being exclusive. That's what's going to keep us safe, so that we don't invite snakes like Obama to get the whole black and Hispanic community on board with the LGBTQ community,
Right.
so that we now are the face, or our Black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters are the pioneers and the spearhead of the LGBTQ movement. You know what I mean? Are we not looking at, you know what I mean, Kamala Harris as a sister? You know what I mean? Just because she got just because she got a bottle of some damn Frank's hot sauce in her purse. You know what I mean? Or because she wear Chucks and pearls.
Right.
You know what I mean? That makes her Black. You know what I mean? Well, and because we get fooled by things like that, we ignore the entire history of her, you know what I mean, being part of policies that locked up brothers, you know what I mean, well past their, you know what I mean, locked up, I believe, innocent brothers and sisters, right? And then locking them up beyond their sentence. You know what I mean? Keeping them locked up beyond their sentence. Kind of
No, if I could not say what you bringing out, because when the journalists, when they was interviewing Trump, they stamped up Black card by saying, yeah, she definitely is Black because she went to a HBCU.
Good night.
Like because she went to a college that accepts other races, they said, well, yeah, she gotta be Black. So like,
good night.
It was hot too.
Like it's so, like, that's all it takes for us to be Black, and that's why, you know what I mean, we have sold our culture to everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? All the way down to, you know what I mean, you look at our music. You know what I mean? Where we got the best, you know what I mean, we are the pioneers of, you know what I mean, hip hop. You know what I mean? But we stamped the best rapper alive is Edomite, Eminem. You know what I mean? We invite them into our culture. We make them the face, and we make them the foundation of what belongs to us. You know what I mean? You take the smallest thing, and because we don't, I mean, you take the smallest things all the way up to the large things, from music to, you know what I mean, who we pick to rule over us. You know what I mean? We take, you know what I mean, we take those things and we make grave mistakes because we don't understand these simple things, man.
Right.
That's why what we teach in the ISUPK is so important, because it keeps you from being docile. So like, you go back to that Proverbs chapter 1. So now you know that your nation isn't determined by, you know what I mean, your skin complexion. It ain't determined by where you were born. Like I was watching this you know what I mean, this clip of, you know what I mean, Captain Kataza dealing with China Mac. And China Mac really feel like he's, you know what I mean, Black, damn near, because he was born and raised. Like, he said he never been to China. He's Chinese, but he said he never been to China, but he was born in New York. Right. You know what I mean? So he feel like because he was born and raised in New York and he was born and raised around hip hop, that he's a part of that culture. And then he made try to strengthen his point. He said that if you were born in China, born and raised in China, that's your culture. And that's how we fall. That's how we fail. Because, you know what I mean, you look at America, you look at Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans who were born here. You know what I mean? Even though we were born here and we don't know anything else. All we know is America. All we know is the 4th of July and Christmas and Columbus Day. That's all we know, and Thanksgiving. That's all we know. What they do in America, but they still don't. We are still second and third and fourth class citizens, even though we were born and raised here, man. That's the danger. And because we have remained simple, because we don't understand this Bible, then we always fall victim to those type of things, man. It's like you was about to say something, or you have.
Yeah, it's like it's I just like, especially like some of the brothers with the mixed interracial marriages, where they'll have maybe a South Korean wife or a Korean wife, whatever, and he be Black, and then have children, but the children they'll practice the Asian tradition.
God.
Because we don't have anything to fall back on, so they'll do the tradition of the mother. You know what I'm saying? So right. that's kind of wild, just how that be being portrayed. If we don't have anything, so they'll fall back on the mother tradition. Right. God. They'll do it hardly. You know what I'm saying?
God. Now that's an excellent point. You was about to say some more. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter. What's the one? Let's say we should make marriages with them, or that our hearts will be turned away. Let's get that real quick, because what that brother just said was an excellent point, and that's another way that we sell our culture. You know what I mean? Especially, like, we don't even realize it. Like, we just read in Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 that you are called, your pedigree is called by the seed of your father. You know what I mean? So, like the brother just said, if you go ahead, read that. You got that Deuteronomy, or okay, Most High correct.
When it comes, sir, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou make unto thy son.
See, what your Christian pastor has done is, you know what I mean, made this Bible as if it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Or they surmise the Bible as if, Shalom of Christ is. They surmise the Bible and make it as if, you know what I mean, they make it as if, you know what I mean, the Bible is just about all love. You know what I mean? It's about God loving everybody, and we should all just love everybody. Right. And we drink the Kool-Aid, like, to the point where, like, we believe the dogma and the rhetoric that's spewed in that Christian church so much. You know what I mean? We so you know what I mean? We so deep in the, you know what I mean, in the indoctrination of Christianity that we don't even read the Bible and look at it for what it is. And if we do read the Bible, like, we just believe this dogma without even reading the Bible. Like, no Christian pastor has ever been given the burden to prove the dogma and the indoctrination that they teach in that Christian church. Right. But we grow up with it and we just believe it. You know what I mean? You take any Christian, or you take any Joe off the block. We can go outside right now and just pick anybody. Any brother or sister, any heathen nation. You know what I mean? You just take anybody, first person that you see, and they gonna be, you know what I mean, strung off of, you know what I mean, they may be homeless, strung off of crack, or whatever they doing nowadays. I don't know. You know what I mean? They be in all types of conditions, and you ask them, hey, does God love everybody? You ask them about any of the Christian dogma, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, God loves everybody, and Christ ain't got no color. Christ died for everybody, and Christ is God, and they know the doctrine, right? Without even having read it, or because it's nowhere in the Bible, right? Like, none of that Christian dogma is in the Bible, but any Joe off the block knows the indoctrination. But we're so indoctrinated with Christianity that when we show you, like we're about to show you right now, like the brother just said, you know what I mean? Again, we think that God loves everybody and we all should just come together. But the Bible just said we're not supposed to marry these other nations. And it got specific, and we're not supposed to give our sons to their daughters, and their daughters take their daughters to our sons. We're not supposed to marry them in any way. You know what I mean? But even as we, it's like you about to say, come. But even as we show you in the Bible, you know what I mean, what the Bible is actually saying, and how what the Christian church has been telling you is a lie, and it has been a lie since the beginning. We don't even want to hear it. We don't even want to believe it. Right. You know what I mean? So that's just how heavy, like that's how heavily, you know what I mean, these other nations, especially our chief oppressor, you know what I mean, got us sleep. It's like you can go ahead and read on. And this is why, like, these things are so important. Like, again, because of the Christian church, we look at it as if it's such a small thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just, you know what I mean? I just love everybody. That sounds so wholesome, right? Are you just supposed to, you know what I mean, love everybody? It just sounds like a beautiful thing. Like, oh yeah, you just, you know what I mean? Y'all just a people full of love, and you know what I mean? How could you hate it? How could you be against that? Well, this is why. The Most High warned us about this, man. And this is going to explain the condition that we in. It's like, you go ahead, read on.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
But they will do what?
Turn away thy son from following me.
See, because we allow our children, our Black, Hispanic, and Native American sons to marry their women, you know what I mean? We turn away from our people. We turn away from the Most High, who told us to, you know what I mean, gather together, O nation not desired. You know what I mean? But then you got your son, you know what I mean, going to get themselves an oppressor, and then all of a sudden You know what I mean? Slavery was so for 500 years ago. It doesn't matter. You see what happened to, you know what I mean, Sonia Massey just a couple of weeks ago. You see what happens to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at the hand of our oppressor, you know what I mean, every day. You know what I mean, every week, every month. You know what I mean? How our brothers and sisters are being mass incarcerated, redlined out of, you know what I mean, getting the lifestyles that we trying to, you know what I mean, try to strive for. They you know what I mean, they see a black man or a woman, you know what I mean, filling out an application for a certain job. They just did away with affirmative action. You know what I mean? I believe in colleges. You know what I mean? Where they keep you out of, you know what I mean, they keep you separated from them. And it's happening right in our faces, but because we marry their people, we marry our oppressor, we overlook the oppression, man. And we start to serve their people. Oh, it's like, you go ahead, read on.
But they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
That they may serve other gods. And that's exactly what ends up happening. You know what I mean? That brother, you know what I mean, gets himself a Arab woman. You know what I mean? And they gonna go and you know what I mean, they gonna go and become a Muslim.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they family, they know what it means to hold on to your culture.
Right.
They know what it means to stay separate and establish who you are. You know what I mean? As a nation of people and stay together. So they like, look, if you gonna be with my daughter, they say it all the time. Like you gotta find yourself a Muslim. You know what I mean? A Muslim brother. You know what I mean? If you take, you know what I mean, if you take a brother or you take a man that's not, you know what I mean, a Muslim, he has to convert. You know what I mean? That's how they look at it. And they don't want you, they don't want their daughters marrying our sons no way. But we end up marrying them and then we end up serving their gods.
Right.
It's like it. Go ahead. Is it some more on that?
Come. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
And it's so crazy. Like you take, like that's just looking at the brothers, but you take the sisters. Like good night. You know what I mean? Our sisters go and lay with our oppressor. You know what I mean? That's such an evil thing because they used to force, you know what I mean, themselves on our women. You know what I mean? To put it lightly. You know what I mean? They used to, you know what I mean? They used to, you know what I mean, force themselves on our women. And now a lot of our sisters is going and seeking them out willingly. I mean, not even realizing, like we just read in Numbers chapter 1 and 18, I mean, you're the seed of your father. So you're going to, that sister is going to lay with an oppressor and that child is going to come out, you know what I mean, melanated. And because we're indoctrinated with colorism, you're going to think that that child is a black child, not even realizing that you're bringing you're now the portal for your oppressor's children. So now all you can create is oppressor's children. That's why it's so important for us to understand this Bible. Because the things that we think are tiny, like, oh, love is love. They love saying that. Love is love. You know what I mean? No matter what the color, race, or creed, or age, or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Love is love. Not even realizing that you are ushering in the destruction of your people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Salakia. Was it any more of that? Or that was it?
That was it for verse 4.
Okay, no sweat. Let's get back to that Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 22 real quick. So like this is why this is so important. Like again, we look at these things as small things, but they're so large compared to, you know what I mean? They're so large when you look at the ripple effect that they can cause. You know what I mean? You look at it was something else I lost it. But you look at King Solomon, you know what I mean? He had all these heathen wives and he started to, you know what I mean? He went from being the wisest man in the world to now he's building you know what I mean, temples to, you know what I mean, serve and worship these other nations' God because he had all these strange women. You know what I mean? Us like you. Go ahead and read on.
Book of Proverbs, verse 1, Book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge?
How long are we going to be simple? how long are we gonna be fooled and beguiled by simple things?
Right.
Like how long is it all it's gonna take is for somebody with a little bit of melanin who is not of our people to just all they gotta do is have hot sauce and they got your heart. You know what I mean? They got your heart in the chokehold. Or all somebody got to do is shoot a basketball, and they got your heart in the chokehold. So now you're blinded by your infatuation with, you know what I mean, them being able to portray our culture so well that they're able to put policies that can destroy, that have intentionally destroyed Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we don't even look at it because Obama could shoot a basketball or Kamala Harris got hot sauce and chucks. You know what I mean? How long are we going to be simple, man? And scorners delight in their scorner and fools hate knowledge. So now, like we said before, like we so engrossed in this Christian dogma, it's become so deeply rooted in Black people, you know what I mean, that if we show you in the Bible that Kamala Harris isn't Black, we show you through her pedigree that Kamala Harris isn't Black. We show you through her policies that she is against Black people. You know what I mean? Our people are gonna be like, nah, we ain't trying to hear that. We ain't spewing all that hate. Well, okay, be that. Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Okay, say, you know what I mean? I'm saying we should be separate. We should be separate, and that Kamala Harris ain't Black, so we shouldn't vote for her. Okay, that might sound hateful, but like, okay, looking at it like that, when are we gonna observe? You got that video in the email still, with Trump talking about Kamala Harris? Like, okay, we so quick to look at, you know what I mean, because this sounds strange that we should be separate. You know what I mean? We read it as Bible that we should be separate, and we're quick to attack other Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans when we teach you, you know what I mean, in the ISUPK that we should come together with one another and separate from these other nations. Like, okay, I understand. That's something new that we're not used to hearing, so it sounds hateful. But what about what these people have actually done? Like, what about how, like, you know what I mean, is Kamala Harris locking up Black brothers and sisters innocently, and they're also keeping them locked up beyond their sentence? Is that not hateful? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is Barack Obama, you know what I mean, pushing for? Is Barack Obama pushing for can I say abortion on the internet? Without being, I don't think I can. I don't even know what they call it. Our sisters, you know what I mean, being able to take the life of a child growing in their belly. You know what I mean? Is that not hateful? Is that, you know what I mean? They you know what I mean, the LGBTQ community, you know what I mean, being you know what I mean, being pushed into our communities, into our schools, you know what I mean, where our children go to learn, into, you know what I mean, our children's daycare, where our babies can barely say their ABCs, but they know the GABCs. You know what I mean? They know what a transsexual man looks like.
Right.
A man with a woman with a beard and breast and big old muscles and like good night. Like your kids barely know how to count to 10, but they are learning about what a man and what a lady man is.
Right.
Good night. Like, that's not hateful. So like you was holding something?
I'm still
The Proverbs.
yeah, so I'm going to read all the 23.
Slacky, you might we gonna get to 23 in a second. You might play that video real quick.
It's like it, so that's kind of crazy too, because now they're letting these alternative lifestyle people to go out and either adopt kids.
Good night.
Now, man, like how are you supposed to raise a kid in that type of lifestyle? Like, they're gonna be asking questions like, mama, daddy,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so like, that's confusing. You know what I'm saying? For a child to try to come to mind and try to think like, what is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So like, I know it's just unreal. Just even trying to think about how they would be panned out. You know what I'm saying?
God. What you has more?
Okay, wait, sir.
Now what you said was heavy because like that conversation is already confusing for children in the first place. Like, you know what I mean? When they start to grow and develop, or they, you know what I mean, they young and they get curious, they see they might see their mother, you know what I mean, pregnant, or they might, you know what I mean, they like, hey, where do babies come from? How did that baby get in your belly? They get to ask a question. You gotta explain to this child who's maybe 5 or 6, and they see, you know what I mean, what's going on, and they got questions, and you as a parent, you don't know, like, okay, are they too young to, you know what I mean, to be able to teach them about the birds and the bees, as they call it,
right?
Where babies come from? Should I just tell them the truth? What is harm my child? I mean, it's already a confusing topic as a parent and how to approach it. But then you usher in the LGBTQ community, and now this child is raised up with 2 mamas, and one mama got big old muscles and a big old beard with a soft voice, and then the other mama, you know what I mean, got, you know what I mean, a deep voice with, you know what I mean, a feminine figure, and like now you got to explain to this child. I don't even know what you teaching the child. Like, where are you going with this? Like, it's just such a diabolical thing, man. And that's why it's so important for us to get back to this culture. Like, how low do we gotta go? How far do we gotta stray before we realize that this is destructive?
Right.
Like, this is how much more do we gotta be destroyed by all these other nations, and destroyed by the idea that, you know what I mean, that it's a small thing to join yourself to another nation in their culture. How long do we got to be destroyed by these things before we decide enough is enough, and that we need to draw the line somewhere?
Right.
So like you got that video.
Supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a
Maurice say, okay, most of it. Cause how she used to be. Okay, most of it.
definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly.
Now, just I want y'all to listen to what's being said. And, Officer Karab, you know what I mean, he taught a heavy class yesterday, and he, you know what I mean, he played this video yesterday. But well, we gotta. I want brothers and sisters to listen real carefully at what he's about to say, because it's heavy, and it's gonna show you how docile we have become, and how not only, you know what I mean, they can see it. They can see the trick bag that's being played on Black people, but Black people refuse to see it. Like we just read it in Proverbs. Slacky, go ahead, Quail.
Very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until
he said that when he knew her, you know what I mean, when he was observing her years before, she only portrayed herself as East Indian. That's what she portrayed herself as.
Right.
So she never was like, she never called herself a Black woman. You know what I mean? She always called herself an East Indian woman. But now, Slacky, go ahead, play on.
a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black
I
woman. She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire?
Pause there real quick. That's Candace Owens, right? Is that who that is? That's what it sounds like. I can't see who that is from here. Well, it's a sister though, right? Now, Trump, you know what I mean, because he, you know what I mean, he's an evil bastard as well. But, you know what I mean, as evil and wicked as he is, you know what I mean, he made an excellent point. Like, you know what I mean, she was one nation of people. She always represented one nation of people for so long. And now conveniently, you know what I mean, she's trying to run for this position. And now conveniently, she's wants to be called a black woman. You know what I mean? And as he's trying to, you know what I mean, say this, you know what I mean, as he's trying to break this down, the sister, she's fighting. She's like, oh, she's always been black. She's always this, that, and the third. Read that again, that Proverbs.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
We hate knowledge. Like this knowledge, you know what I mean? Just understanding that these politicians have nothing to do with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans but to destroy us. And they use our, you know what I mean? They use our indoctrination to colorism and Christianity to keep us fooled. You know what I mean? That's going to free us if we understand that. But we try to break that down and get brothers and sisters to understand that, and we hate it. We fight against it. When we show you in the Bible, we show you via, you know what I mean, these politicians' policies, how they want to destroy us. You know what I mean? We show you their pedigree and their lineage, how Kamala Harris's forefathers was black or like white slave owners, and you know what I mean, and opposed the abolition of slavery. You know what I mean? We show you these things, and we still fight to try to call these other nations us, even though we show you how they don't share in our struggle. We don't, you know what I mean? They show us, we show you how they don't share in our plight as black people. You know what I mean? They don't share in our captivity. They don't share in the struggles that we, you know what I mean, see every day. They're not having their lives taken or having their you know what I mean, dignity beat out of them by, you know what I mean, the people who are supposed to serve and protect us in this country. I mean, they're not going through these things, and we show you these things, and black people are the ones who want to fight us on it. So like,
right now, if I could, it's so heavy what you're bringing out, and just to even look at what Trump said, he said that is she black or is she Indian? Meaning what? You can't be from two different places at one time. And so he's telling the so-called black community, y'all need to look into that. Well, when are we gonna look at African American? You know what I'm saying? Like, because they say all the time, well, you got Chinese American, but he just clearly said she's black or she Indian. Which one? Because you can't be both. So he's letting you know, listen, you gotta search the pedigree of your father to find out who you are. So like,
give my hand. What that brother just said was so heavy, man. And what the men above me always say is, like, if you take away a man's culture and identity, you know what I mean, you beat a man's culture and who he is out of, you can replace it with anything. And that's exactly what's happened to us, where our culture has been beaten out of us and ripped from us, and because we don't understand this Bible. We don't understand our culture is right here in our faces, because our Christian pastors won't teach it to us. But I mean, because we feel like we don't have a culture, you know what I mean, it gets replaced with you know what I mean, it gets replaced by a color in a crayon box, or the name of two countries, which are the names of two oppressors. African comes from America, so like a Cypriot Africanus, right? And American comes from Amerigo Vespucci. I believe those are two Italian what's it called? Colonizers, like you.
Right.
I mean, so we're calling ourselves after the names of two oppressors, with calling ourselves African American. You know what I mean? I believe in the, you know what I mean? I believe in like the 60s. I can't remember the time period. We start calling ourselves Afro-Americans. So we naming ourselves after a hairstyle.
Right.
Like, because we don't have an identity. We replace it with, you know what I mean, our oppressor's name. We replace it by, you know what I mean, just the texture of our hair. Because that's all we have to identify ourselves as. We replace it with drug culture. Like, you know what I mean? We replace it with like we think that we think that you know what I mean, getting as high as you can get, you know what I mean, getting high as you can is black culture. Like smoking marijuana is black culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? You try to talk to these you know what I mean, these brothers and sisters who just love that marijuana, you know what I mean? They're going to have a whole breakdown for you about how you are supposed to, you know what I mean, getting high is part of our culture, and that's something that we always did, which is a lie. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't find that nowhere in our culture prior to, you know what I mean, captivity, and you can't find that nowhere in our culture without being able to trace it back to some oppressor and some captivity. Same with twerking. Oh my God, sisters swear up and down, you know what I mean, that twerking is a deep rooted part of black culture. You know what I mean? So now, where you see, you know what I mean, you see sisters doing photo shoot. I saw this disgusting picture of this sister, you know what I mean, doing a photo shoot with her child where her whole behind is out. And she got the child, the baby dressed up in a matching outfit where she got the diaper on, but then she got some little, like some jeans with the behind cut out. So you see the pamper, you know what I mean? And the mama got the same outfit on, but you see her, she's a full grown adult. So she got her whole behind with her, you know what I mean, the tiniest underwear she could possibly wear underneath. And, you know what I mean? And the child is just like, you see some of them pictures, the child is looking down like this can't be right.
Right.
You know what I mean? But because we've been taught that this is a deep part of our culture, you know what I mean? Even the men, even the fathers don't even look at it as something is wrong. Where you have a full naked mother in front of her child who is dressed like a prostitute.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we don't think there's nothing wrong with it. And that's also why, you know what I mean, Kamala Harris was able to kick off her, you know what I mean, campaign event in Atlanta with, what's her name, Meg Thee Stallion twerking. Because that's all you got to do to appeal to black people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bring somebody to endorse, you know what I mean, her campaign and her policy. They probably don't even understand the policies,
Right.
but they sell their opinion to these politicians who use them to try to gain the favor of these people. And we don't even see nothing wrong with it because we think like, oh, she twerking and she just dancing. You know what I mean? It's like you was about to say something.
Oh my God, just to add to what you were saying, just go even deeper. I mean, they even got like little kids singing, I mean, dancing to them on the dance team and stuff like that. Dancing to Megan Thee Stallion, whatever, Sexy Red, all of them, just dancing to that music, just like it's okay. You know, they wear them like dress some little kids up with, some borderline, laboratory stuff, whatever. And this is just crazy how destruction we are as people, right? Just we don't see it. We think it's okay. It's so cute. Them girls out there, they are dancing, they're in unison, and they're getting it in, and we just go with it, clapping along, like it's okay. When they grow older, be young ladies, and we just generally pass it along to their daughters, we're gonna break the cycle. Somebody got to step in and break the cycle. Like we lead to destruction.
Right, real talk.
We lead to destruction.
Right. Get that brother a hand. What he said was the absolute that's the whole point. What he said was absolutely heavy, and that's the point. That's why we gotta realize how long are we gonna be simple? How long is our oppressors going to, you know what I mean, take our lives in front of our face, enslave us to our faces, mass incarcerate us to our faces, steal from us to our faces, abuse us to our faces, come into our houses and take our lives to our faces, and and all it takes for us to forget about it is for, you know what I mean, one of our people, one of these politicians to use our people and, you know what I mean, twerk in front of us. How long is it? All it's going to take for us to forget about Sonya Massey is hot sauce in the purse on collard greens. How long is all it's going to take is for somebody with, you know what I mean, somebody quoting rap lyrics to appeal to us? So like you about to say something?
Yeah, no. So like, if I could, I was just gonna add to that point what you said about Sonya Massey. Like, that sister just got unjustly unalived in the public, and it's been what, a week, 2 weeks ago, and the posts are already faded down already. Like, you know, like I remember when that pray for friends, that everybody changed their stupid profile picture. That was going on about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This sister just got unalived publicly for the world to see. I don't see no more hashtags, no more tweets. And the only thing you seeing is, you know, this woman that's not even a part of our nation, that's just, you know what I'm saying, beguiling us. Like, how long we gonna love that simplicity? That is that all it takes? Like you said, if we like.
All right, get my head. We should be, you know what I mean, we should be absolutely ashamed of ourselves, man. We should look as a nation, you know what I mean? We should just look at these things, man. And take a look at ourselves, man. Take a look at ourselves as a nation and just consider, like, how simple can we be? Like, are we just gonna lay down and, you know what I mean, take this? Have we given up? You know what I mean? Like, is this it? Like the preacher said, is this all it's gonna take? Like, we losing our lives, and all it takes is for somebody to pull some hot sauce out, and we rooting for it. All it's gonna take is for somebody to crip walk across the stage, and we feel like we're making progress. You know what I mean? Like, how long? Salakia, you able to read on, Shah? Are you busy?
Oh, good.
Okay, that's good. But how long? How long are we gonna continue to be like babies? You know what I mean? Where we just, all it takes is a distraction. All it takes is for somebody to wave something in our face for us to be impressed. You know what I mean? With our oppressors and want to join ourselves with them, man. But you got to realize that this is a curse as a result of us putting down our culture, and joining ourselves to another. And we're going to get that as well. It's like, go ahead, read on.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 23. Turn you at my reproof.
So the Most High is urging us to turn at the Most High's reproof, man. Let us, as He's trying to correct us, man, through His prophets, man. We need to turn at this. We need to turn away from these things that make us simple and turn back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, which the Most High already told us is our wisdom and understanding in the sight of these other nations.
Right.
It's like, go ahead, read on.
Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
Go ahead, read on.
24. Because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded.
The Most High has been trying to call us back to be His children. You know what I mean? And He uses so many, we're going to get into those as well, but He uses so many different examples of, He uses so many different metaphors to get us to understand the relationship of the Most High to His people. You know what I mean? And, how He looks at us when we turn away from our culture and try to join ourselves to another nation who are supposed to be, we're supposed to be ruling over these other nations. Go ahead, read on.
25. But ye have said at naught all my counsel.
But we tell, we get out on the street corners and we teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible. We hold these classes and we teach the truth according to the Bible. We've been doing this since 1969. You know what I mean? But we ain't trying to hear that. You know what I mean? We're brothers and sisters. It's so heavy to the point where, like, brothers and sisters will hear the things that we teach and they'll agree. But the only thing that stops them is they not trying to hear it. Right. Like, they don't have a counter argument.
Right.
They don't come up and say, you're wrong because of this, that, and the third. They don't pull up the evidence and be like, see, what you said was a lie because this, that, and the third. They'll agree with us and be like, yeah, I see what you're doing, man. But I ain't trying to hear that right now. I'm just trying to get high, man. I'm just trying to get out here and, get behind some of these females. I'm trying to go to the strip club, man. I ain't trying to hear all of that, man. I'm just trying to get me a bottle and, get pissed drunk. And You know what I mean? Embarrass myself in front of my family. I'm just trying to enjoy my time. I'm just trying to enjoy my life, man. I'm just trying to get this pork sandwich. You know what I mean? And enjoy my catfish fish plate, man. I'm just like, that's how simple we become, where we agree, and the only reason why we reject our own culture is that we not trying to hear it right now, man. You got to realize that the reason why you're not trying to hear it right now is because you have been destroyed, and you have your oppressor to thank for that, man. And until we come back to our culture, they're always going to be able to destroy us and dangle a little bit of a piece of what we think is our culture, man, and insult us to our face, man. What we go? Good night. Slack it. Go ahead, read on.
And would like it, and would none of my reproof.
We don't want it. We don't want no correction, man. We try to tell our sisters to put some clothes on, man. Put some clothes on around that baby, man. Put some clothes on that baby. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And we don't want to hear none of that, man. We don't want to hear none of that. Where now you got your sisters, we got you know what I mean, you got our sisters twerking at a you know what I mean, a kid's birthday party with you know what I mean, kids cartoon characters, you know what I mean, twerking at a kid's birthday party. And we're not trying to hear that, man, because we just trying to have a good time. Them sisters just trying to have a good time, so much so that they don't give a damn about the influence that they have on their children, man. We don't want no correction. We don't want no reproof. Go ahead, read on. Slack me.
26. I also will laugh at your calamity.
Read that again.
I also will laugh at your calamity.
So you think the Most High just all loving and all understanding, and He don't give a damn what you do, as long as you just say, "Oh, I love Jesus," and you burst into tears,
Right.
when that organ get the plan. As long as you just love everybody and God know your heart, you know what I mean. He know that. You know what I mean? You just trying to make it in this world, man. You might smoke a little bit of weed. You might sell a little drugs to your people on the side. You know what I mean? Our sisters might sell a little of their body here and there. You know what I mean? Whether it's on a stripper pole or whether they you know what I mean, selling themselves physically. You know what I mean? Like, it's just but God know my heart. Even though I'm doing so much evil, even though I'm such a disgusting piece of garbage, you know what I mean, God know my heart. You know what I mean? It's like that image of God, the Most High, that we have in our minds, where He's just this soft, you know what I mean, all understanding, never corrects His people. You know what I mean? That soft, effeminate version of the Most High, we get that from the dogma and the rhetoric that's taught in the Christian church,
Right?
But that's not in the Bible at all. This is the real Most High God that we serve, man. Go ahead and read that from the top again. 26.
26. I also will laugh at your calamity.
Because you won't listen to the Most High, because you won't listen to His prophets, because you know what I mean, when the proof comes out about who your enemies are and what the Most High wants from His people and what the Most High does not want from His people, when that proof comes out, we show you in this Bible, we show you how the lifestyle we live in is destroying our people. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. Read that from the top again.
Verse 26. I also will laugh at your calamity.
Because we don't want to hear the correction. We don't care about the destruction of our people, man. Because when it's time for us to find a solution, we don't want to hear it. We're too downtrodden to hear it. So because of that, because we want to turn away from the correction, the Most High is going to laugh at your calamity. What does calamity mean? Anybody want to get that definition real quick? Oh, Most High Christ.
The definition of calamity: a disastrous event marked by great loss and lasting distress and suffering.
Like that describes the condition of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Where our condition is destroyed. We are destroyed, and it is lasting. It's like, read that definition again, Bob Shah.
A disastrous event marked by great loss and lasting distress and suffering.
Good night. Like our captivity in America alone is calamity. I mean, the fact that we're a lot of us, you know what I mean, whether we like to admit it or not, a lot of us are afraid to even have children. We don't even want to have children. You know what I mean? Because of the world that you have to raise your children in. You know what I mean? And if you have children, you're afraid to, you know what I mean, send them to school because you don't know whether that school system is going to change their policy. That school district is going to change their policies to where now they're going to allow some creepy grown man with a beard and breasts, you know what I mean, in a wig to come in and teach your children about sex before you have the opportunity to teach your children about sex.
Right.
You know what I mean? Back to 10, 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, you know what I mean? That was predatory behavior.
Right.
Where, you know what I mean? Some dude, some goddamn sick, good night. Like some sick dude trying to teach your children about sex. Approaching your children, trying to seduce them. That's predatory behavior. But now we've normalized predatory behavior around our children because we want to join everybody and love everybody. And we don't want to hear it when we say we need to separate. So the Most High is going to laugh at your calamity. When this disaster comes because we turned our back on what's going to keep us safe and protected, he's going to laugh. Go ahead, read on.
I will mock when you fear cometh, when your fear cometh.
Most High is going to make fun of you. Most High is going to make fun of you. When all it takes is for somebody to pull hot sauce out of their bag to enforce all of these policies that's going to destroy your children or to destroy your brothers and your sisters. You know what I mean? Like you watch that, I saw a little clip of that, you know what I mean? That what's it called? That campaign event in Atlanta. And she talking about the first when they brought Meg Thee Stallion out, she talking about, what she say? She said, I know you love your body and you want to continue to love your body, right before she start twerking. You know what I mean? What do you think she's talking about? She's what's that? It's a lot. It's talking about us or our sisters being able to destroy life in their womb. It's talking about you being able to be as lewd and disgusting in public as you possibly can, man. Right. And those are the policies that Kamala Harris chose Meg Thee Stallion to represent. Those are the policies that they're intending to push. Right after that, what did she say? Salakia. Let's see if I can find the video.
I just want to add to what you're saying. Like, even with the whole Meg Thee Stallion thing, man, that's why in the Israelite school UPK, man, it's beautiful that we bring it back to culture because, you know, really, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, just to help the sisters out a little bit, with the freedom and the liberty that America is giving to women, that's not for women. That's for men. The freedom, the freedom to dress how you want to dress, that's for men to see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you're liberal and you got the liberty. I'm gonna show my, you know, whatever, you know, and I'm gonna show my cheeks because I got the freedom to do so. Every man get to see it, right. You know what I'm saying, and don't gotta pay for it. Sisters thought they was gonna get rich off OnlyFans, right? Right? And degrading themselves for $3.99 subscription a month.
Good night.
Like the women's empowerment movement is men's empowerment. Because with the whole the abortion laws, so like what the unalive laws, you think men don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like have you know, or you don't want to keep the baby? No problem. Like we gotta understand, come back to our culture, you know what I'm saying, and bring shame back to our women. So like,
no, you said, give my hand. And also on top of that, like who do you think that you're like? It's for like the priest just said, which was heavy, like. You think that you're doing it for you? It's the men who are benefiting off of your lewdness and your, you know what I mean, lack of self-respect. But who else is benefiting? Your oppressor. Right. These other nations who seek to destroy you. They can look at you and never take you seriously. They can look at us as a nation and never take us seriously. Like, what you mean? Stop killing you. Stop. You know what I mean? Black Lives Matter. How Black Lives Matter? Man, look what y'all doing to yourselves. That's why they don't, like the priest just brought out earlier, where if they shoot a sister in her home, you know what I mean, the hype dies down less than a week later. And nobody bats an eye. Because what's a life? What's one or two black people's lives? What's another black life? It's just, they don't even care about themselves. So that's what you're doing, man. You think that's what we doing when we accept these things. So like I just sent you a video in the email. Go. You got that Proverbs still?
Kamala Khan.
Oh, go ahead, read on while he pulling that up.
Verse 27. When your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, with distress and anguish cometh upon you. Verse 28. Then shall fall upon me. I will. It's like, but I will not answer.
So then when we see all these, you know what I mean? We saw when Dylan Storm Roof went up in that Christian church, when we saw that disgusting heathen go up in that black neighborhood's grocery store and shoot up them innocent black folks. You know what I mean? We like, God, why? You know what I mean? We look around and see how black people are being, you know what I mean, destroyed everywhere we go, and we blame the Most High. We like, if the Most High, this is the favorite. You know what I mean? If the Most High was real, you know what I mean? Why would He allow our people to go through this?
Right.
Well, He's giving you the blueprint, and you're ignoring it. He's telling you to separate from these people. He's telling you who the devil is. He's telling you who your enemy is, and we ignore it, man. So when they do what devils do, when a murderer does what a murderer does, and you want to call it the Most High, man, he's gonna ignore you, man. When your fear comes and your destruction comes as a whirlwind, when you're being destroyed, man, he's going to mock your fear, man, because he gave you the blueprint, he gave you the instruction, and you did not listen.
Right.
Not because it was wrong, but because you didn't want to hear that right now. You wanted to get high. Salakia. You can play that video.
Now, I know my ladies in the crowd love their body. Real hot girls. And if you want to keep loving your body, you know who to go for.
Megan Thee Stallion kicked off Vice President Kamala Harris.
She said, I know y'all love y'all bodies, and if you want to keep loving y'all bodies, you know who to vote for. And then she get to twerking right after that. Like, that's who's representing Kamala Harris's campaign, man. And that's what you're fighting for. We just want to enjoy our life in hell. We just want to enjoy hell. So this looked like fun. You know what I mean? All of this, you know what I mean? What they call it? They don't want you to slut shame, or they don't want you to what they call it? You know what I mean? They don't want you to be able to speak out against a man or a sister taking the life of a man's child. You know what I mean? Salakia, what you about to say?
I just want to say, when I see this, man, I would say it's like psychological warfare.
Con.
I'm right.
That's what I see, man. Just because how you put the sister on stage to reach out to us,
Right.
to reach out to other sisters and say, look, yeah, I got Megan Thee Stallion, because the sister that look up to her, the ones that, you know what I mean? I said, yeah, Megan Thee Stallion up there with Kamala Harris. Man, I'm gonna get her my vote.
Good night.
I'm gonna get her my vote, man, because she a real black woman.
Right.
She ain't black, I'm saying she real one. You know what I'm saying? She down for our sisters. And it's just psychological warfare. That's all that is.
Get out of here, man. That's exactly what that is. Psychological warfare, man. That's all it takes. Meg Thee Stallion. You know, that's all it takes for us to for Kamala Harris to get our vote. When this is what I want to say earlier. She you know what I mean, she was when Biden was running, she was all up in the campaign, you know what I mean, campaigning to become, you know what I mean, the vice president. As soon as Biden got put in the office, she went quiet. Like, ain't nobody heard from Kamala Harris for the past 4 years. Not a peep since Biden was elected. We ain't even seen a picture of her. You know what I mean? For the past 4 years, we ain't seen not a Chuck or a Pearl. For the past 4 years, no bottles of hot sauce, none of that. And now all of a sudden, she popping out the woodwork, and now she understand black people. Now she all for black people. Man, wake the hell up! But we got Meg Thee Stallion. Slacker, go ahead. Go ahead on the shot, please.
And how come she didn't pick her or SZA?
Good night. Con. That's a heavy point. Give him a head. that would have still been it's like what the brother just said, psychological warfare.
Right.
Like that would have still been some psychological warfare.
Right.
Because you know what I mean, you see, you know what I mean, SZA or her, you know what I mean, you get the or what's her name? What's that sister name? Dang. What older sister. One of Blackity Black singer sisters. What was her name? Huh? Lauren Hill. It's another one of the heavier set sister. What's her name? I was just listening to her earlier. So I like you. But dang. But any of them, what'd you say? I don't know. It just throw out some names. You know, India Ari, some of these older sisters. You know what I mean? It's one sister. I wish I could remember her name, but like, you know what I mean? You have her out there singing. That'll move some black people. Right. You know what I mean? But like, she went with Meg Thee Stallion, but she just known for twerking. Right. And her behind. So like, what type of? They don't even have the decency to use psychological warfare in a way that, you know what I mean, we'll at least look at it as constructive. Right. They use you know what I mean, the lowest of the least of our people. You know what I mean? The least of our, you know what I mean, the least dignified people of our nation to try to represent her campaign. What does that tell you about what she's intending to do? What does that tell you, man? She is aiming to destroy Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans like her reputation precedes her. So like you, go ahead and play some more.
If you want to keep loving your body, you know who to vote for.
Megan Thee Stallion kicked off Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign event in Atlanta, getting the crowd hyped.
We're about to make history with the first female president. Hottie for Harris.
She even shared some backstage fun with the VP.
How we gonna make history? Just because we got somebody, a woman with melanin in the office, like what's historic about it? That's it. And then what? Okay. Say even if she was a black woman, I'll play devil's advocate. What if she was okay? Let's say she was a black woman. She's not, but even if she was, she get in office, and then what? And then what? What's next? So like you can go ahead and play on. There's something. Jill Scott. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. Jill Scott. Yeah, like she could have got any of those sisters. You know what I mean? If she wanted to appeal to black people, and she would have probably appealed to more black people. You know what I mean? The demographic of black people who are more inclined to vote, because these young people who are listening to Meg Thee Stallion, they not voting. They're not the demographic who are going to go and vote. You know what I mean? They're going to need the older generation to convince them that voting is what we need to do. But you know what I mean? It's just so heavy that's who she brought out. Salakia. I think that's it on that for the sake of time. I don't want to be the dead. You had your hand up? Okay, no sweat. I think we done on that. Let's get Judges chapter 2 real quick. Judges chapter 2 and verse we get there with you. We'll start around 17. Let me make sure. Judges chapter 2. 16.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 16. Nevertheless, the law raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hands of those that spoiled them. So
this is after, you know what I mean? This is after the Exodus, where we was, you know what I mean? This is sometime after the Exodus, where we was delivered out of the hands of the Egyptians, and they're in the wilderness. All we wanted to do was go back. We was building, you know what I mean? Golden calves and idols to worship. We were reminiscing about slavery in Egypt and how it was so much better than, you know what I mean, being in the wilderness and being able to fend for ourselves and build a nation of our own, build a government of our own. You know what I mean? So all we could think about was how we missed and loved Egypt. But the Most High raised up judges to try to, I mean, and every time we tried to join ourselves to another nation, and we were, you know, beguiled by another nation to join them or to try to have them among us. You know what I mean? They destroyed us. They took over. They ended up on top of us. You know what I mean? That's why the Most High told us to make no covenant with them and destroy them, get them out of the land. But we didn't do that. We wanted to keep them, you know what I mean, around us, and they influenced us until they ended up on top of us, much like how we allow these other nations to end up on top of us today. But Most High raised up judges, right, to try to deliver. It's like, go read on.
Verse 17. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a whoring after other gods.
So this is how the Most High looks at it when we join ourselves to another nation of people. He looks at us as if the same way you would look at, you know what I mean, if you had your woman, right, the mother of your children, you know what I mean, the woman that you love, and she go and step out on you and sleep with another man. You're gonna be the same way that you would feel as a black man when your wife steps out on you, the mother of your children steps out on you. That's how the Most High looks at us when we go and join ourselves to these other nations, man. Slack, you go ahead, read on.
And bow themselves unto them.
And bow yourselves unto them. See, we think that we could join everybody and be one melting pot, but what you don't realize is when you join yourself to another nation, you end up under them. When you try to join yourselves to the Muslims, you're not their equals. You're a second-class citizen to those people who that culture belongs to. Same when you fill in the blank with any religion. Kemet, you know what I mean? You put yourself as a second-class citizen to the Africans. You know what I mean? You join yourself to the you know what I mean? What's it called? The Hindu. You know what I mean? You start locking your hair, getting high. You know what I mean? You become a Rasta. You know what I mean? Rastafarian. That's an East Indian and Ethiopian based religion. And you try to join yourselves to them and call yourself a Rastafarian, you end up being a second-class citizen, man. Anytime you join yourself to another nation's God, you bow yourself to them, man. But the Most High said we're supposed to rule over them. Slack it, keep going.
They turned quickly out of the way which their father walked in.
Good night. They turned quickly.
Obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not do so.
And this happened, like if you read the book of Judges, this happened over and over, where the Most High will raise up a judge, and we're delivered out of the hands of our oppressors. You know what I mean? And then we go back to serving the Most High, following our culture, our law, statutes, and commandments. And then a new generation comes, and then they end up following after or serving other nations' God. And then it happened over and over and over and over again, man. But that's exactly what happens to us, man. That's exactly what happens to us in America. Select you. You go ahead and drop that. I just want to get that, just to show how the Most High looks at us when we serve other nations. I'm gonna get another example. Let's get Ezekiel, the 23rd chapter. Lock me. Make sure that's correct. We just you can go ahead and start from the you can start from the top. Ezekiel 23 at 1.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 23, verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one woman, mothers, like 3, and they committed whoredom in Egypt. They committed whoredom in their youth. There were their breasts pressed, and there they bruised teats of their virginity.
So this is a metaphor used to describe the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? Two daughters of one mother. So the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Israel and Judah, are two parts of one nation, which is the nation of Israel, man. And we committed whoredoms in Egypt. We committed whoredoms, just like we read in Judges. When we go to serve another nation's God, that's the Most High looks at that as whoredom. Just like how a man would look at a woman if she stepped out on him. You know what I mean? The same way. But he's using now. At first, he was using like the relationship between a husband and a wife. Now he's using how you would look at your daughters. Like imagine a father, right? You know what I mean, being a father or mother, and your daughters. You know what I mean, you try to raise them up to teach them right from wrong, to be, you know what I mean, a certain type of daughter, and then they go out and you like good night. Like you see on social media, and they taking them the picture that we was talking about earlier, where they posing with their children. You know what I mean, naked, or you see, you know what I mean, you go to your child's you know what I mean, you go to your child's back to school party, because we don't do birthday parties. You know what I mean? Go to a back to school party. You know what I mean? You do trying to do something positive for the children, and then you pull up and you see your daughters, you know what I mean, twerking in front of the children, half naked. You know what I mean? Talking about y'all ready to go back to school, and she butt naked in the yard, embarrassing herself. You are going to be, oh my God, as a father, like your stomach is going to turn at that, man.
Right.
You're going to be sickened by seeing that, man. And that's how the Most High looks at it when we join ourselves to another nation. And it's a good night. Like these wasn't just no, you know what I mean? These wasn't just no. They didn't do the bare minimum in their whoredom. I mean, they were the nastiest 304s that they could possibly be. And we're gonna get a little bit more. Slacky.
Again, this is a precept. Tobit 4 and 12. Beware of all holding, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to a wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets. No, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they are all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed of their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
Good brother here. That's so heavy. Like that's talking about literal whoredom, but that's also like whoredom, like we just read all over the Bible. Like the Most High considers when you join yourself to another nation as whoredom as well. We got to beware of those things,
right?
Because that is the recipe of how you destroy a nation. When you can infiltrate them and take away, you know what I mean? You take away their foundation, take away who they are, you take away their identity. You know what I mean? That's the easiest way to destroy a nation and keep them destroyed long term. Right? You can see that in the example of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in America, North Central and South America today. You know what I mean? Where they've taken our culture and taken our identity, given us their names, given us their culture, divided our language so that we can't even talk to one another. That's how you destroy a nation and keep them destroyed. Slacky, go ahead and read on. Verse 4.
Verse 4. In the names of them for the Lord, and the elder, and the Lord, our sister, and there were mine, and their sons and daughters. Thus were their name Samaria, and the Lord, and Jerusalem, Aloha.
So Samaria and Jerusalem are two important cities to the nation of Israel. All right, for time's sake. Slacky, go ahead, read on.
Verse 5. And the Lord played the harlot when she was mine.
So she played the harlot.
The harlot, like
you already know what a harlot is. Go ahead, read on.
When she was mine, and she died on her lover, in the serene my neighbors.
So we you know what I mean, we were like we was talking about in Judges. Like these nations were round about us, and we wanted to join ourselves to them, man. That's what it's talking about. We said she doted on her lovers. Doted just means to be extremely and uncritically fond of. So we were fond of these other nations, even though the Most High said never make marriages with them, never join them, separate from them, get them out of the land, destroy them. We were fond of them, and we allowed them to be around us. You know what I mean? We showed them some mercy, which ain't, you know what I mean? That's not necessarily a bad thing, but because they were around us, you know what I mean? We fell, you know what I mean? We ended up serving them instead of them serving us.
Right.
We wanted to join ourselves to them. It's like, Chris, you got something else?
Oh, no.
But we joined ourselves to them, and that was always our downfall. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 6, which were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses.
That's exactly how we get baited into, you know what I mean, joining ourselves to these other nations, because they look so appealing. You know what I mean? You look at the Arabs in Bollywood, and we want to be like, you know what I mean, we want to be like them. We look at how glorious they try to paint the African culture to be. We, you know what I'm saying? We see what's it called? The Black Panther. We see Wakanda forever. We see how beautiful Wakanda was in that movie, and you see, I know y'all remember how we flocked to the theaters. Everybody had on their dashiki with their kufi on,
Right.
and everybody was Wakanda forever, even though Wakanda is a fictional place in a movie, in a comic book. But that's all it takes for them to paint this other culture as this beautiful thing, and we just join ourselves to it. You know what I mean? And that's how we end up destroyed, man. That's how we end up playing hoarder with them. Slacky, go ahead, read on.
Verse 7, thus she committed her whoredom with them, with all them that were chosen men of Assyria.
Syria, that was one of our captors as well. We joined ourselves to the Assyrians. We played the whoredom with our captors. We played the whoredom to our oppressor. We joined ourselves to our oppressor and joined ourselves to their ideals. Go ahead, read on.
And with all on whom she doted, with all their idols, she defiled herself.
She defiled herself. That's how Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans end up destroying ourselves, man. Go ahead, read on.
So like, I just want to bring a precept out to that. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. So just like the scripture is saying, like, because we started following after those idols, that's how we started. That's how we became hoes to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's spiritual fornication. It's like,
give him a hand. You about to say something? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 8, neither left she her whoredom brought from Egypt.
So not only is she joining there, not only is she playing, you know what I mean, the 304 with the Assyrians, one oppressor, but she never left her. She never left the hoarder that she brought from Egypt. So now we're serving these people, we're serving this oppressor, and we're serving this oppressor. That's why, like, that's exactly how we are today. When we join ourselves to the, you know what I mean, we might be Rastafarian, you know what I mean? We'll lock our hair up, you know what I mean? We smoking all the weed. You know what I mean? You can't go a day without getting high. And then you also think that you African. You know what I mean? Going into Kemet and Egyptology and wearing what's it called? What's it called? The ox and the you know what I mean? We getting the ox tattooed on our bodies and wearing them around our necks and all of that. And then we also going into astrology and the zodiac signs, and we also you know what I mean? We're joining ourselves, you know what I mean, doing mantras and you know what I mean, all of these you know what I mean, joining ourselves to all these different nations, man, who all have a hand in oppressing us. It's like, you go ahead, read on.
It's like, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breasts of her virginity and poured their whoredom upon her.
Yuck! Listen to how the Most High is describing this, bro. Like, you should be the same way that you would be disgusted and you would be disgusted and heartbroken and angry and infuriated and disappointed at seeing your children, you know what I mean, turn into literal whores. You know what I mean? That's how the Most High looks at it when you join yourself to these other nations, man. But we look at it as it's such a small thing, but the Most High looks at it like, good night. And that's why the Most High uses these examples, because, you know what I mean, like the scriptures say, the Most High's ways are not our ways, and his thoughts aren't our thoughts, man. So, you know what I mean? But we do understand fatherhood. We understand being a father to some daughters. and how we want to raise them, and how disappointed and devastated we would be if they went out and shamed us by, you know what I mean, doing something like this. Salakia, let's drop down to 10.
Verse 10. He discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters and showed her to the sword. It's like a sword, show her with the sword, and she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her.
So after they get done, you know what I mean, whoring our people out. After they get done whoring you out, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, they destroy you. They throw you away, man. They lock you up in jail. After they get done using you in the music industry to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans like they did Young Thug, they throw you right in jail. You know what I mean? After they use our sisters, you know what I mean, to destroy our young daughters and our young sisters, they throw them away. You know what I mean? They select it. Verse 11.
Verse 11. And when her sister Alabah saw this, she was more corrupt in her ordinate love than she, and her whoredom more than her sister in her whoredom.
See, the other sister, you know what I mean, saw this, and she became more of a 304 than her sister. So she was like, her sister was the famous for her whoredom with the Egyptians and the Assyrian and all these other nations. And the other sister, she like, I'm finna double down. I'm about to be exponentially more of a 304 than my sister was, man. It's like, go. What are y'all about to say something? You want to get the mic? Come on, like just looking at these examples, like it should make us look at ourselves like, hey, this is what we look like to the Most High.
Right.
Whole time we go to church and we just like, thank you, Jesus, and we singing songs and falling out on the flow, and you know what I mean. We think that can't nobody see us, man. We can't.
No.
We go to church Sunday morning and we think that can't nobody see how you was selling that thing on the internet Saturday night. Like you can't nobody see that you was up in the strip club throwing all them ones. You know what I mean? But you look at things like this should make you go like, dang, this is what the Most High look at us. And we were called the Most High's children, the Most High's beloved, man. But we acting like whores. We acting like prostitutes. Like we just like, good night. Like you could read this. You know what I mean? You read this whole chapter, and it's just good. It's just portraying like it gets disgusting. It's just disgusting, and it's a metaphor talking about us. But like, you could just put yourself in that mind state, like how filthy and like how filthy and disgusting it is for us to join ourselves to these other nations, that maybe we can get the heart and the courage to separate, man, and to not be like this anymore, man. And us not being like that anymore, us separating from these other nations is going to get us out of this condition, so the Most High can be our God again. So like you.
Now, if I could, not to go too much into it, but they displaying their whoredom in the church. Like they clapping cheeks on Sunday, you know what I'm saying, in front of the church. Men on their knees, women on their knees, laying down with the blanket over them. You know what I'm saying? Like they displaying that whoredom in church. Like,
all right, and it was so heavy, like what we just read, like this whoredom wasn't like, it was just able to go on, and it wasn't, you know what I mean, it wasn't corrected, it wasn't stopped, it wasn't interfered with. So it just grew. Like the second sister, she increased it. So now you got maybe 10 years ago, they didn't allow the LGBTQ community up in the Christian church. And now you got, you know what I mean, LGBTQ in every Christian church. You know what I mean? Leading the choir, preaching behind the pulpit. You know what I mean? Leading the children's church around your children. And then, you know what I mean? That behavior isn't corrected. So now you got the first, what's it called? The first LGBTQ, openly LGBTQ pastor with instead of the first, what they call it, the first lady, they got the first man, you know what I mean? And then you good night. Like it only gets worse. It only gets worse. You got power bottom TD Jakes. Where you talking about good night? they got I'm moist, and what he say? Getting swallowed up. Getting swallowed up. Like they getting more and more lewd and disgusted with it. Like the priest just said, like they doing the, you know what I mean, twerking and cartwheels, doing the splits in the church. You know what I mean? But it's like somebody had their hand up. You about to say something? Nobody. Okay, no sweat. But this is what happens, man. This is what's been happening for years, man. Where we don't look at these things as disgusting, or we don't look at these things as, you know, something to be corrected. We look at it as a small thing, and it grows and grows and grows until it gets out of hand. Where now you got a Christian pastor being discovered to be a child predator and a sexual deviant, and instead of correcting and removing that pastor, they relocate him. So now he can't teach here. He can't do, you know what I mean, his sexual deviance here. But now they're gonna relocate him over to this other black church to do his sexual deviance there, destroy more lives, destroy more children, man. It's like you. Where we at? But I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? I think we get the point, right? It ain't no questions or anything in the chat at all. You wanted to, it was something you wanted to bring out before we close it out?
Oh no, I was just putting up the LGBTQ church.
Nice.
It's like it says, that's the pastor in the first I don't know what to call it.
Oh,
That's what you call it. I don't know.
I don't know that, boy. You got it.
It's that's insane.
like the Bible, like, so what are they teaching in the Bible? Like, what are they teaching in those Christian churches? What are they teaching? Because you already got the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster in there. You already got the you know what I mean, the LGBTQ. You already got the holidays, you know what I mean, which the Bible speaks against. The Most High always spoke against these things. You got the interracial, you know what I mean, marriages going on in there. Everything's against the Bible in the Christian church. So what are they really doing in there? You know what I mean? It's something to think about. But
there's my cousin there. I think there's a Sodom and Gomorrah in there.
Good night. That's
Sodom and Gomorrah in the churches.
If I could, I just want to read what they teach. The Vision Church is home of one of Atlanta's thriving LGBTQ congregations with roots in Black Pentecostal tradition, but with a theology that leans towards inclusion instead of exclusionary and harmful messages often heard in traditional churches.
Go ahead.
Harmful. So the harmfulness is the law, teaching that you can't be, you know what I'm saying, of that lifestyle.
Right.
And this is evil, man.
Good night. That's so, Jesus. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy, like most other Christ. It was another precept over the pool, but I ain't gonna go. We approaching the time, but you know what I mean, we done joined ourselves to all these different ideals, man, and all these different nations and all these different. You know what I mean, this destroyed us, man. But we don't even. Our identity is whatever they want us to be.
Right.
Our identity is whatever disgusting behavior they want us to do. They want us to be. They want our sons to be weak and effeminate. So they put the LGBTQ community on us. They want us to be thieves and murderers. They put that on us. And they make us, and we eat it up because we want to be accepted in this country. We want to be accepted in this world by everybody so bad, man. So like, you about to say something?
Like, this is heavy because the ISUPK, we are cult, or we consider a hate group. Because what we teach straight out of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But they accept this. They don't accept us, but they accept this. That's crazy how you be portrayed as a hate group or whatnot, and this get accepted. And nothing gets said. Like they get a parade probably every June. They parade the church, but they probably parade in the church. Probably all the colors up in the church. So they have the color rainbow. They probably hold all the rainbows in the church on June.
That's so damn heavy. Give them a hand. And like you ask anybody, okay, how are we a cult? How are we a hate group? And just like in the Christian church, they're just gonna spew the lies and the dogma and the rhetoric that they've been taught. Like they're just gonna spew these speculations that they've been heard because of course we can't be the voice of Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. We are anyway, but they don't want us to be out in the forefront, so they got to make up lies and stories about us. They got to put us on the Southern Poverty Law Center listed as a hate group right next to the Ku Klux Klan, even though we ain't lynched nobody.
Right.
I mean, we ain't take nobody's life. All we do is teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to love one another and separate from the people who clearly hate them. But you know what I mean? Anybody who calls the ISUPK a hate group, the burden of proof is on you to prove that we're a hate group. And I challenge anybody in the chat, any Christian that wants to come up against us to prove that. Otherwise, you're just proving my point that you're just going along with whatever your daddy, your father, the devil tells you. Your daddy says that the law is done away with, so you go with it. If your daddy says smoke this weed, then that's what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? 1 minute your daddy says to lock your hair up and twist it up and never comb it or wash it, and you're gonna do it and become a Rastafarian. And then the next thing, weed ain't good enough. Weed ain't cool no more. Dreadlocks ain't cool no more. So you cut your hair bald now, and you get on you do this drug. You get on pills and lean and fentanyl, and you're gonna do it because your daddy told you to, man.
Right.
It's time for us to wake up, man, and separate from all these things. And until we do that, we're going to constantly be moved by simple things like, you know what I mean, Megan Thee Stallion twerking and some eating some dark-skinned oppressor with hot sauce in her purse. But it's like, any questions or comments or anything? Chat. Okay, no sweat. With that, we'll say I Imagine, which means to stand. We're gonna go ahead and give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual Major Shabbat, I Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat, Yagi Matas, Sar, sisters I Imagine, which means to stand. We're gonna give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Individual Major Shabbat, I Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat, Yagi Matas, dismiss.